Today I want to talk about very simple, normal things that you just never learned or never figured out how to do. And they're very simple concepts or simple things that basically everyone on the planet your age is capable of doing, but you are not. And these are very embarrassing things to be exposed, and you kind of just try to avoid them for as long as you can. And then eventually you'll have to do that very basic thing or understand this basic concept. And when people find out, it's always the same reaction. It's, how do you not know that? And then your answer is always going to be, I don't know. I never learned it. The window to learn such a basic thing had passed, and it just never happens after that because everyone assumes that you know it at that point. And this is a concept that is covered pretty well in New Girl, if you're familiar with that show. That is also the video of the day, is kind of an example of this happening. Because in that show, the examples are that Schmidt never learned how to do laundry, and Winston doesn't understand how rulers work. So again, just very basic, easy things to figure out, and they do end up figuring them out because you just need to be told like once and you're good. But you get to a point where you're so old that you never get taught that because everyone thinks you know it. And I've addressed a couple of mine, and my response was essentially to like try to wipe them from existence, which is why we have exhaluntuationality as well as receive, which were just kind of two simple ideas that I never like really got through my head. Except like receive, I do know the traditional spelling. It's just I mess it up so frequently. But the use of an exhaluntuationality, yeah, that one's, it's just not going to click for me and probably never will. I'd say one that I probably haven't mentioned is not knowing like months well. Like I don't know the days that go in each month very well, and I don't know the sequencing super well. Like I have to go through all of them to figure out which month, I don't know, June or July is. The months toward the end of the year I had knocked through really easily, but for some reason, like those summer months from like March until, oh God, what's before August? January, February, March, April, May, June, July. From March to July, it's such a jumble of like which sequence they are in the year, and it's never clicked for me. It's extremely embarrassing, but that is one of my Neverlurnds. And that's what I'm going to be changing the word to, or well, creating a word for. It is Neverlurnd, because those are what they are. They're just these things that, like, if you just learn it once, you're probably fine, or if you just put a little bit of effort into it, you're fine, but it's just you kind of missed your window so that you just have this basic thing that you don't really understand because you never learned it, and that's always your response. And the reason I went with the spelling I did for Neverlurnd, I just wanted to eliminate some unnecessary vowels. So I used a U in learned, so that was the only vowel that was necessary in there, instead of the EAE that's normally in the word learned. And then also it just makes the word a little bit more unique. So it's not simply just the direct spelling and combination of never and learned, even though that's essentially what it is. I just changed the spelling up a little bit. I would love to hear if you have any good Neverlurnds that either you have or that you have exposed in people recently. They're always super interesting to hear, so please drop some in the comments if you have good ones. One that always gets me is when people are full-blown adults and they don't understand time zone conversion or what time zone they're in. That one just kind of baffles me. And yeah, I'm interested to hear if you have some good Neverlurns that you can come up with. Moving on to our comment of the day, it comes from Gavin again. Gavin said, "My absorbent Zorbos love swimming at Zorba's. Ever eaten there before? It is Taste-E with 2 E's, and I like it." I indeed have eaten at Zorba's. I actually really like that place, and I was thinking about Zorba's as I was making this word creation. Of course, Zorba's is 2 Z's and it's an A, so it's slightly different than Zorbo's. But when I would go up to my cabin, that was one of my favorite places to go. Some great pizza, nachos, and just an enjoyable environment overall. Liking this comment for the most part. Of course, tasty is misspelled, but I feel like that was maybe intentional. Either way, gonna give you a solid score of a 71 out of 91. Now moving on to our song of the day, I had to go with another Tom the Mailman video. I chose Taking Over by him, which also has a music video component to it, which I think was great. There's a lot going on, but it's extremely interesting, and stylistically he does very fascinating things in this one, as well as the song is tremendous. I'm really digging Tom the Mailman lately, and he's someone that I think I need to do a deeper dive on his catalog. And then video of the day is Schmidt doing laundry, to give a nice example of Neverlurnd in a TV setting. And this is a pretty funny video, and this episode in itself is extremely well done if you watch the entire thing. Probably pretty easy to look up what it is. It's like the guys' night episode / like when they do laundry and ruler stuff. So yeah, great stuff there as well. Peace out.